everybody. Welcome to the Hallmark TV podcast. And we are really excited today. We have another end of year episode for you. And this one's going to be a little bit different. We've never done this before, but there were so many series this year on Hallmark between the regular channels and Hallmark Plus that we thought it would be fun to do a whole end of the year kind of wrap up ranking of the series that they had, the various series. So what we're going to do, and we'll look forward to all of your rankings and your feedback and what you liked the best. But I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Caroline is here.
Hey,
How are you doing?
pretty good, pretty good.
Good. You have a good Christmas?
It was fun, yes.
Oh,
My
good.
niece, my niece is 4, so it's like magical,
Oh, cute.
like it. Yes, it's fun.
Yeah, the holidays are so much more fun with kids.
Mm-hmm.
They just really are.
Mm-hmm.
I
She
know
called,
the moms and dads are saying are unsure about that because it's a lot of work, but it is more
yeah,
magical.
as the aunt, it's fun, and I don't have to do all the hard work and
Yeah.
just enjoy. She called me yesterday. Santa just knew she needed all this stuff. He just knew. Santa, it was so cute.
Oh, that is really, really cute. Yeah. Well, overall, what do you think about Hallmark and their television lineup this year? What do you think?
I thought it like I like the series like more than I like the reality ones.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think it's fun that they're trying different
Hmm.
things.
Yeah, and it makes sense if you're trying to offer a streaming service that you're going to want. So, because the thing about reality shows is they're really cheap.
Hmm.
So you got it's an easy way to kind of pad out your offerings
Hmm.
and without it being too expensive. So yeah, we ended up with 8 series that we're ranking for this. And like I said, we have some Hallmark Plus, we have some regular Hallmark channel, and let's dive in. Let's talk about it.
Hmm.
So what do you have as your number 8?
Chicken Sisters.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you have it at 8? What made it the bottom for you?
It was just too, I don't know, the family drama was too much for me.
Yeah.
Like the first episode and two were pretty fun, and then it just kept like getting more heavy, I guess.
Yeah,
And
I
the
mean the
drama.
crazy. Yeah, I agree. It was just so unpleasant. All the characters were there was nobody to root for. There
Hmm.
was nobody that I liked, and so it just wasn't pleasant. Like I would not have finished it if it wasn't for
Yeah.
for the podcast.
Hmm. It was tough. Yeah.
And they had like a very talented cast. It was well made, but they're expecting you to get all swoony for the lead character cheating on her husband. And yeah, her husband's a
Yeah.
jerk, but that's not a swoony, that's not a romantic, that's a sad
Hmm.
situation. And the
Hmm.
crazy thing is that it's not even in the book. So
Yeah,
they
that's the
like
thing.
actively made it more scandalous.
Hmm. Yeah, I heard the book was a lot better than
Yeah, yeah,
the
it was.
series. So.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, because her husband is dead in the book.
That's true.
And so they like went out of their way to make it more unpleasant and more. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, it's Hallmark
It's
Channel.
definitely can't air it on Hallmark like channel. Like
No,
no.
no. And even if like you want to do something a little bit more brave, a little more complex, you still have to give us a character that we're rooting for, that we like.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they just didn't. Like neither of the sisters were
Yeah,
very
it was.
likable.
Mhm.
I I mean if I yeah, and then the husband, he was just
Yeah,
the worst.
he was the
And
worst.
I hate feeling overly, I know all Hallmark is kind of manipulative, but I hate feeling overly manipulated. And I hate when I feel like I'm being manipulated to support infidelity. I
Yeah.
just in movies and film and television. I hate that because it just there's you have an argument for divorce. You don't have an argument for infidelity.
Cheating. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
At least
and
have them separated, like, you know what I mean? Like, had them divorced and how that works and not,
yeah,
yeah, that would have been a little bit easier to watch.
Yeah, I think they were really trying to make their own Virgin River a
Mm,
Hallmark, and it just didn't work
yeah.
because Virgin River, as wackadoodle as it's gotten, that show has gotten ridiculous. It was too much. It lost me after a while, but as crazy as that's gotten, it still had at its core two very likable lead characters that we're rooting for,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that have pretty good chemistry, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's, I think, done so well with Bridgerton. I mean, with Virgin River. And that's one thing I also wanted to bring up is that as a podcast, we've covered a ton of television, even beyond these Hallmark shows. If we were just doing all of the television seasons that we covered this year, we covered some just single episode recaps, like with My Lady Jane, and then others we did multiple episodes, like with Bridgerton. We covered 2 seasons of Heartland in the year. We had a lot of fun, me and Jax, covering we did a throwback series and covered Square Pegs, and that was fun just to do
Mm-hmm.
something different. And All Creatures Great Small we covered, which we're going to be covering again in a few weeks, because the new season starts on January 12th. Is the new
So
uh,
many new series, so
I
many new
know.
seasons.
I know. No rest for the weary here,
No.
because
Mm-hmm.
we just finished up Christmas, and we have The Way Home starting on the 5th, of the 3rd. And then
Yeah,
we
third,
have,
next
yeah, the
Friday.
3rd. And then we have When Calls the Heart starting on the 5th. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I usually do preview episodes of Hallmark shows before the new season starts. But I think we're gonna do something a little bit different for The Way Home. But we are gonna do a preview of When Calls the Heart, so we'll have that. But anyway, yeah, I agree with you about Chicken Sisters. It would also be my number 8. So, uh, oh well, they took a swing. They
Yeah, they
tried.
tried. Yeah.
I do not think we're gonna get a season 2. I'd be shocked.
No. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. Number 7 for me was Celebrations with Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Me
this
too.
was
Oh, no.
this was perfectly harmless. It was sweet. It was enjoyable. The only reason that it is number 7 for me is that I think the episodes are a little too long.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I think it would have been better as a 22-minute, like basically a half hour on the network. It would have been better at that length, because I'm not that interested in them putting together these parties.
Mm-hmm. Like the first episode was fun, and I really enjoyed the emotional like stories.
Yeah.
But after a while, it just got not tiring, but like it lost its appeal. If that makes sense.
I mean, it's nice to hear about these people and their stories and stuff like that, but it just didn't need to be 44 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the main problem.
But Lacey was perfect for it. Like I really enjoyed seeing that.
It was overall enjoyable.
Yeah, I liked it. It was
it.
just I like the other ones better.
Yeah, I like the other ones better just because it, like I said, it was just they were just a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
So that if they were gonna do season 2, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Or maybe even possibly tell 2 stories if you're gonna do 44 minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Because we don't need to know all the behind the scenes planning of these, parties.
True.
I don't care.
Yeah, me too.
All right, what do you have first, number 6?
I have Ready, Set, Glow.
No, that's what I have too.
Oh no.
I don't know how long we're gonna match up.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, this is another one, perfectly pleasant, enjoyable. And the pacing is better in this one.
Yeah.
Because they cover more. There's more happening.
Area. Yeah, I like
more stories.
And the stories were fun. It's just like I like the actual like scripted television a lot better than maybe one episode of Ready, Set, Glow, like an hour long, but after a while,
Yeah.
it was
That's true. If it was more of like a special kind of a thing, I
Yeah,
could see it more. I mean, it was perfectly like to me, shows like this are like background shows.
yeah,
Like when you're going about, you want to have something on in the background, then they're good. Same thing with like Food Network.
I watched it wrapping presents. So
yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect choice for that. Yeah, definitely. So, and Wes Brown, he's a pretty good host.
He was.
Yeah, he was a good host. So, all right. Yeah. Well, number 6 for me, I don't know if this is where we'll branch off. For me is Holidays. I have Holidays at 6.
I have Finding Mr. Christmas.
Okay, I have that at 5, so we're pretty close there. But for me, Holidays, I thought it was somewhat uneven. I liked some of the storylines more than others. I liked my favorite was the bromance between Dennis Haysbert and Sir Darius. That was fun. That was my favorite. That whole plot line was in Loretta Devine and that whole thing was my favorite. I also thought the plot line with the main family with John C. McGinley and the one with all the kids and the vegans and the all of that one was pretty good. I really disliked the Lynn family plot line and story. It was so tired and just unbelievable. And I know I didn't like that one really, and I wasn't that big a fan of the sisters.
Those are the two of my least favorite ones. I really liked Erin Cahill and Ian together. I hope they do like more projects together. I like
that one was pretty good, except for they did not need to have Nazneen. It was just so making him be emotionally cheating, making him have there was just no need. There was enough conflict between the two of them just being like second chance romance and not getting along in high school, being lab partners, whatever. Like there was just enough there, and her giving him tickets and I mean, I still felt like he was more invested in a relationship with Theo than he was with
That's true
with Erin's character, with Nora.
He was
I think
so cute though.
He wanted to be Theo's dad, and he was just going to do whatever it took.
That's true.
So that's like a little bit of a problem. But yeah, I would say the Dennis Haysbert.
Yeah.
I would say the Dennis Haysbert one was number 1. And then the big family. And then the Erin Cahill. Yeah, and then I would probably say the sisters, and the last would be the Lynn.
Yeah, I agree.
But overall, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was somewhat uneven, but it was still, fun.
Yeah, I would love to see if they do like a second season with the same
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely
families.
leaving it off on
Yeah,
like with the assumption that they were. I kind of doubt it because they filmed it
it's
so
been two
long ago,
years. That's true.
and it's like then they just kind of hung on to it. So it seems
hmm
unlikely that they would do a season two.
hmm
If I mean, just getting all of these people back together
Back
again,
together.
would be hard.
Where did they
But
film it? Did they film it in Canada or did they
uh,
film it in Utah?
oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think
hmm
it was in Canada, but that was
Okay.
just an
I don't know if
assumption. I'm not sure.
I don't know why I thought they did somebody was talking about Utah, but maybe I was
No,
thinking about something else.
no, it could be. It could be. I just, I don't know. I don't know on
hmm
that. But yeah, again, they tried.
hmm
They tried. So yeah, I have that at 6. You have Finding Mr. Christmas at 6.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was fun, but like
yeah,
the winner wasn't my pick, so maybe that's why I have it on the number. So
yeah. The winter definitely does impact it. It felt underwhelming
hmm
for the way that it was edited and the way that like they didn't really sell us that much on Ezra. And so then
yeah.
it leaves in these reality shows when the winner isn't sold by the editors. Because it's one thing if it's
hmm
like Big Brother is a live show, and so like
That's
they
true.
there's limited to how much they can really sell the edit because they literally don't know. So that's one thing. But like on a show like Survivor, there's been some seasons where it's like the editors they're trying to surprise us, but like and certainly some winners give them more to work with than others. And there
That's
can
true.
be like for instance Survivor South Pacific where Russell was just by far the dominant character of the season, and then he
hmm
ended up not winning. But like I understand as editors you're going to want to have a lot of Russell on that season. That
hmm
makes sense. But still you end up feeling kind of deflated because the person who won you just barely got to know over the season, and it's just kind of like,
And like, they won
you
me over
know
with Hayden. I'm like, hey,
yeah, yeah.
he's gonna win. Like I just knew it.
I thought so too. And the thing that I would love to know, the thing that feels a little fishy to me is it seems like that it does seem like it makes sense to put Ezra and Jessica Lowndes together. Like that
hmm
pairing as far as chemistry and stuff, it kind of makes sense. So I would love to know when everything happened. Like
mm
was when I just would love to know when she was cast.
Yeah,
And so, like, were the producers of this show thinking, who do we match with Jessica Lowndes? Or were they
that's a
thinking, who do we match with Ezra? And then they picked Jessica Lowndes.
that's I would love to know that too. That would be interesting.
Yeah,
And then
because,
Hayden with the story about the dog and everything. Like
yeah.
maybe they didn't want him to have to do that movie. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you think that, I mean, that was what was so weird because they even had like a very similar slideshow in Happy Holidays to what
Oh
they
yeah.
had kind of done on that episode with the dogs.
Oh yeah.
you know and so again, I would be very curious to know where all the pieces fell into place, where the
hmm
timeline was, because if they cast Ezra to match Jessica
Georgia.
Lowndes in the movie, that feels a
That
little
makes sense.
underwhelming, and maybe that's a
hmm
problem with this format is that you're not really picking the best person, you're picking the person for this particular movie. And
Yeah.
and so it's like, mm, I,
Mm.
so I'd like a little more transparency, I guess, in that. I think it would make it more interesting. but
I
uh
saw some
but
people saying they just picked him for his looks. Like maybe, like I don't know.
yeah, I mean, and
But
I do think that final episode he did really good with the kiss and that whole thing with
hmm
Nikki. He was, I thought, really
hmm
good.
hmm
But yeah, I mean, they're all three really attractive
Like
guys, but I do
couldn't go
think that
wrong.
he makes the most sense with Jessica's, just as far as
That
chemistry.
makes yeah, agree.
That's what makes me wonder. So I would love
hmm
to know that. But yeah, it was underwhelming just because I think all of us were sort of rooting for Hayden.
hmm It'll be interesting to see how they handle season 2, if there's any changes to the format or anything.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. And people said, oh, they should do a Finding Mrs. Christmas. I think that's a lot harder because
the lady is the lead.
The lady is the lead. That's the thing. And so that's asking quite a lot of a new talent to lead, a film.
Because we always hear about how tough Hallmark movies are to film.
Yeah.
Because it's like 15-day and like you have so much to cover.
Yeah,
And
they probably wouldn't want to be so they probably want if they did a Finding Miss Christmas, they would probably want to keep it just actors.
Yes, yeah.
And not be so broad, I guess, in their search.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you need some experience, I think, for these fast shoots. It's not like you have a lot of takes.
No,
I didn't hate Happy Holidays as much as a lot of other people did. It was like just average to me, but it was hard not to think the whole time, like, oh, I wish Hayden was.
Me too. Yeah, I think that's what caused some of my issues with the movie, is thinking about I need to watch it again with
Yeah, I mean, it was
open mind.
Nothing special, but it was just kind of like, meh.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
But what do you have at number 5?
Holidays.
Yeah. Okay. We just swapped those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. Like I thought it was different, and I like seeing how the different families each celebrate Christmas, and it was just a lot of characters, So
yeah, it was a lot. It was overwhelming we still have to record our final episode recap. Me and Anne will do that on Saturday. But yeah, it was kind of a lot to keep track of. Okay, so then we have at number 4 is where I have Mistletoe Murders.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this more than I expected. For some reason, I thought it was going to be kind of boring because I'm not like the biggest mystery person, but it was entertaining. I think splitting it up into 3 cases was smart. And so you basically had 3 movies in the way they had it set up, and I think the cast was really good, and the overall arc of her and her backstory was like effective, and the romantic subplot was good. I don't know. What did you think of Mistletoe Murders?
I have that. I guess it's my number 2.
Okay. Yeah.
So just I guess we're gonna switch. Well, I love the mystery, and I thought it was really fun seeing it play out over 2 episodes and not like wrapped up in one episode.
They did a good job with that, definitely.
And I love the just the other side characters were fun, and seeing the daughter.
Yeah, and some of the guests that they had, like Tom Cavanaugh.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Did you have a favorite of the different cases, the 3?
I like the last one the best. I thought that was fun.
Same.
I liked all 3, but like I didn't figure it out the last one. The other 2 were kind of easy to pick out who did it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit ridiculous, the idea that this woman would do this over the choir of like a regional community choir competition.
Yeah.
You're really like,
Very
this is a little
serious.
bit,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
insane, but it was entertaining. That that plot,
That's
uh
true.
it was a little
It's
insane.
Hallmark though. So
Yeah. Well, what do you have it for?
The Way Home, season
Okay. Season
2.
2. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. I have that
I
at 3.
I like I liked it. It was fun. Like the 1800 part of it, it wasn't my favorite. I wanted to see more of the present day and seeing more with Alice and Kat together instead of on their separate um journeys, and
Yeah.
more Dell. Hopefully season 3 has more Dell.
Yeah. I got my numbers mixed up. Sorry. I have it on my thing. I have Fighting Mr. Christmas actually at 4, and then I
Okay.
have Mr. Murders at 3.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so we just switched them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I have The Way Home season 2 at 2. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, I have it. I enjoyed it. I do think the season was a little uneven, particularly with Dell and Elliot. I think they were the two
hmm
problem characters because
hmm
they're both on the outside looking in. They both don't
hmm
have they're not like proactive characters, and so they end up just kind of complaining a lot. And
That's
I'm
true.
hoping in this new season that they give them some agency in the
hmm
story. And I mean,
hmm
especially with Elliot having time traveled now, and I think that will help. I think that I'm assuming that Dell's going to find out about the pond with Jacob
hmm
and everything like that. That will, I think, make it much better for their
I,
characters.
I agree. I hope the Jacob storyline. I was kind of underwhelmed with the Jacob storyline last
Mm,
year. I was really hoping we would see Dell meet Jacob at the end, and
yeah,
I was disappointed with that. And so I hope that they all mesh together this season.
I can see that.
But
I can see that.
but I really enjoyed the other parts of the season. But the Jacob storyline it didn't feel up to the
Yeah. I
same.
mean, in my opinion, the 1814 stuff was way better than anything in certainly the modern storyline. It was
hmm
way more interesting, and I just like Thomas and Susanna a lot
Yeah, I'm Team
better.
Kat and Elliot, and I want them together. And I was so upset.
I see, because I mean, because I just wasn't liking Elliot. He was annoying
Yeah,
me,
he
and
was off.
and Thomas. Oh my gosh, I loved. He was so handsome and
He was
and
handsome.
great, and so it was easy to kind of be rooting for that.
hmm
But of course, she has like the emotional investment in Elliot.
hmm
But I so they have to kind of work on that, I think, a little bit.
I guess I'm
But
over love triangles after When It
yeah.
Falls to Heart.
So I was always just sort of waiting for them to get back to 1814.
Yeah, I was the opposite. That's funny.
Because I just liked and Susanna I liked a lot, and her
hmm
character was good. And uh I think that they could do more with Alice and her
hmm
growth as a character. I think her kind of recognizing the humanity of her mother, and
hmm
I think that's one of the most interesting parts of the series is
hmm
that she gets along with her mother so well as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I
hmm
think kind of diving into a little bit more, not that she hates her mother as an adult, but kind of diving more into that, I think could be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be fun to see.
Yeah. And so overall, it is, especially the finale was very satisfying and
hmm
exciting,
hmm
and where I think we're going to find a lot more about Colton.
I can't wait about that. I was
Yeah,
hoping more Colton.
I think we're going to find out that I mean, I guess this turned into like a mini preview of season 2, but I think that we're going to find out a lot more about Colton, and I'm pretty sure that he's a time traveler.
He has to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Because Dell
and
isn't. So it has
no,
to be
and
Andrew.
and and then what are we going to find out about him I forget her name, but I
What's
mean, I forget their name.
what's
Casey?
Casey? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they are the next generation Landry.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely what they were implying. So that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
fun. So all
Mm-hmm.
these sort of teases that they left off with are going to be a lot of fun to dive
Mm-hmm.
into for this new season. But yeah, it was for how strong the first season was. The second season was not as good,
Agree.
but yeah, but it was still
The curse of the
overall
second
entertaining.
season. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we both have the same number one, I think.
Yes, yes.
So you have
Surprise,
Missile
surprise.
Murders
Yeah.
at 2, and I
Yes.
had that at 3. And
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, we have What Calls the Heart, season 11,
Yay.
which some people might be surprised because they know I'm not like a diehard Hardy. I like the
Mm-hmm.
show fine, but it was just so well done. It was such a good
Mm-hmm.
season, and like the I think I almost enjoyed it in spite of itself, because like what they did in switching to Nathan was just crazy and
Mm-hmm.
bizarre, but I don't know, it worked. It was very
Mm-hmm.
entertaining.
And the mystery of like who shot Lucas was
Uh-huh.
fun, and how that lasted all season. And of
Yeah.
course, Rosemary and Lee, and all the stories worked for me.
Yeah.
Mike and Meg getting married, that was fun.
That was really fun. I enjoyed that. I wish that we'd almost seen even more of them together,
Mm-hmm.
but I did really like the wedding and leading up to it, and her brother coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and that was fun. I
And all
think pretty much everything with Henry was
mm-hmm.
pretty good. With the kind of, I thought, felt like putting a cap on that whole thing with the mine,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty effective.
Yes.
And so yeah, it was good.
And all the way they shot certain things was like different and fun for
Uh-huh.
When It Calls the Heart. So
Yeah,
yeah, I liked all that too.
it's
And the
true.
romance was fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's I know there's people that are still upset about Lucas. But I don't know, like it I think they pulled it off. They
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason they had to do what they did, the season before, that whatever reason they had to make that switch, which was crazy. They
I still can't believe it actually happened. Like,
it was
it's just
bizarre,
wow.
like so bizarre. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason that they had, in the end, they pulled it off.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
Agree.
And so yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see where they go. We're going to do a whole preview. We'll talk about that. But I'm feeling pretty positive about season
Me too.
12.
It's gotten better every year. It seemed like the
I
flow of the
really
seasons.
liked Faith and Lily.
Yes, that was so.
I
Like I
think
was
that
so
is
surprised.
probably Faith's best plot that she's ever had on the
Agree.
show.
She doesn't need a romance
No,
like
she doesn't.
now. She like Lily is perfect
Yeah.
for Faith, and I can't wait to. Not talking about season 12. I just can't wait to see Lily and little Jack like together. That'll
Yeah,
be so
that'll be
fun.
fun. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. That's true. And Goldie.
Yes,
So there
that
we
little girl's so
go.
cute.
Yeah. So we have, I'll go over my ranking. So I have One Calls the Heart, season 11 at 1. I have The Way Home, season 2 at 3. I'm getting messed up. I have When Calls the Heart, season 11 at 1. The Way Home, season 2 at 2. Mistletoe Murders at 3. Finding Mr. Christmas at 4. Holidays at 5. Ready, Set, Glow at 6. Celebrations with Lacey at 7, and Chicken Sisters at 8.
I have When Calls the Heart, season 11 at 1, Mistletoe Murders at 2, The Way Home, season 2 at 3, Holidays at 4, Finding Mr. Christmas 5, Ready, Set, Glow 6, Celebrations with Lacey 7, and Chicken Sisters 8.
Great. Well, let us know what you think of our rankings, what you think of the different series. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. And if you do any kind of ranking of these series, we'd love to be tagged and let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say. or read if you do a blog. We'd love that. And Caroline, where can people find you?
On Twitter at Nita Caroline R.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure that you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really, 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 really appreciate that. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our patron group, which has a lot of fun activities and events that you can participate in at any tier level. So please check it out. And then we have our merch store where we have all kinds of Hardee's and The Way Home and all these series. We have merch inspired by them. So check it out. And we would sure appreciate it. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.